Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to diagnose a bad injector. If you've got an ISX15 X15 or an ISX and you've got if you've idled for a little while and then you go to take off and white smoke goes everywhere, I'm going to show you a way to diagnose it if it gets bad without hooking it up to a computer. Hey, do y'all remember about 2 weeks ago? No, it was back at MakeCents. Dang, time flies. It's been a month ago where I thought my turbo was gone. My turbo was shot, and knowing a good mechanic, came down here at the shop and talking to Allison about it. I talked to her about it on the phone. She said, no, that turbo's not going to do turbo slobber. Even had other buddies reach out and say, no, that turbo don't do turbo slobber. That's older, again, 14 stuff. That's not what's going on there. So it's a riddle, what's going on with this? And just the other day, I was down here at the shop. I swung through and done the oil change and stuff like that, which I didn't get none of that stuff. I should have captured it because during my oil change, I forgot to lock up my oil plug, my little valve. And yeah, I basically flushed a fresh 12 gallons of coolant on the floor. So, God, that was an expensive oil change. Anyway, while I was down here, I showed Allison on the frame, and I'm going to show you guys too what it done. All the turbo slobber that dripped down the frame, and she looked at it and she's like, is that where from your turbo what you're talking about? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, yeah, that's diesel, because it still looked wet, which I'm gonna show you guys. She said, that's diesel, that's not top oil or anything like that. And let me back you up to something else I've been having an issue with for about the last 2 years. I've got an injector that's giving me problems, giving a fit. If I sit and idle and then I take off, white smoke just bellers out everywhere until I get rolling down the road, and then it cleans up. So that's been giving me problems, and for about the last, I don't know, 6 months, it's just got progressed worse. We hook it up to the computer and it don't trip anything. And when we did the rebuild, we done a leak down check and on all the injectors. We found one that was leaking down, and we replaced it during the rebuild. And I thought, man, I'm glad to have that problem rid of, until we fired the truck up after the rebuild and it's still done it. So I've just been trying to play with it, trying to put some after treatment in there. Jerry bought some at the truck show and said, hey, this is my buddy's after treatment or fuel treatment. He said, let's see if it works, because if it works good and cleans up at Hazen, I might start promoting it and selling it at the shop. Well, I'm here to tell you it didn't work. I actually didn't notice anything different. And I think it's because I'm always, about once every month or so, I'm running a cycle of power services through the injector cleaner and stuff to keep all my lines and stuff good and cleaned up. But it didn't work. So having the injector issue, when I showed Allison that right there, she said, that's diesel. She said, that's from that injector. I said, how's an injector going to cause too much diesel to come outside the turbo? She said, it's dumping too much fuel in there. And while you was at MakeCents, those 4 days, those couple hours that 5 or 6 hours in total that you idled, she said it just dumped way too much fuel in there, and it just built up and it just bubbling out. But what really gave it away is how much I got to show you out the truck. Hold on. All right, so I was showing her this. Oh, this right here. And see how it's all still wet? And I said it came from here, dropped all the way on all this up here, and ran down my frame. And first thing she said is, it's fuel. That's fuel. That's diesel. Because it's been that long and it still looks wet. Only diesel's going to do that. And I asked her, I said, how? So like this is going to be like from oil. Yeah, because it's covered up in dust. Yep. And that right there still looks wet. And I was asking her, I was like, well, how is a bad injector going to make that get in here and corrode out of this right here to drop down here and to here?
So if it's over fueling, it has nowhere to go, so it's going to push it out the exhaust. Right. So when it pushes out the exhaust, it's going to go straight out.
And when I'm rolling down the road, it don't do that. It's just the 4 days at MakeCents, and over the 4 days, maybe 6, maybe 7 hours of idle time, it didn't get hot enough to burn it off.
There you go.
And when I'm going down the road, that sucker right there is so hot, it burns it all off. And then I said, okay, here's a good question for you. This down here, why is that right there still moist? We just rebuilt the engine. And she got to looking at it, and this right here is probably the dead giveaway of what her analysis. She looked back there, Where's it at? You can see the gasket. I can't see what I'm doing. All right, you see the tip of the gasket down there? It's rusted over. If you look at the gasket right there, it's still got its paint on it. And she said, why is that rusty? It's getting moisture on it. And what do you think, what is your analysis on the diesel coming through the gasket? Because didn't you say liquid can come through a gasket before combustion gases will?
Yeah, so on these, I don't know why, but I've seen them where if it has a bad injector like that and it's dumping too much fuel, where it actually like seeps through. I don't know how.
Yeah.
There's no exhaust. It's liquid. And
Yeah.
I guess it just sits there.
And absorbs.
So when your truck's off, and if there's any fuel like still in there and it hadn't like evaporated out, it just seeps out.
Yeah. That makes sense to, because I went on a hiking trip a couple years ago and I was sweating so bad. My hat, the whole bill of my hat was soaking wet and it was dripping off the end of my bill. So that's basically what's happening there.
Sits and...
So anyway, she said, I got a magic trick. So whenever you come back, I've got a handy dandy, super cool little toy. And what we're gonna do with this?
We're gonna check the temperature. So if you have a bad injector that's leaking fuel out, that cylinder will be colder than the rest.
Yeah, because dumping too much fuel is cooling it off.
Yep.
All right, cool. Let's check it out. All right, I'm just going to record her doing what she's doing. It's probably too loud over here. So, maybe good news. She got the temp gun out, and number 1 and number 6 was the coolest. And they're pretty cool because they don't have another cylinder on the other side of them. So cylinders 2 through 5, they're all hot. They're over 200, except the end ones. But number 5 was about 10 degrees cooler than the others, the 4, 3, and 2. So she kept looking at it and she's like, I'm pretty sure it's number 5. I was like, worst case scenario is next time I can get down here, grab another injector, put it in there. And if it don't go away, we're going to pull it out and we just go one by one until we find one where it takes away this right here. See if you can hear this. When I fire my truck up, it fires up and it just goes, whoa. So just listen for my exhaust. Put that window down over there so you can hear it. Oh. So it does that. So we find out which injector is causing that thing to go whoa when I fire the truck up. Don't matter if it's hot, don't matter if it's cold. It always gives that initial whoa when I fire the truck up. And she said, I still think it's number 5. She said, it is a little cooler. She said, but not like I figured it'd be a lot cooler than that. She said, and I was like, yeah, but the gasket, the bottom of the gasket is all rusty. Not the top of the gasket because, you know, gravity stuff goes down. The bottom of that one gasket is rusty, and the top and bottom of the rest of the gaskets, they're still painted over red. So it ain't burned them off. They're still good. So I think we found our injector, and that's finding an injector that will pass a leak down check and finding an injector that won't throw a code when you hook a computer to it and try to find it. So anyways, guys, if you like this video and it was helpful, give me a big old thumbs up and subscribe if you're not subscribed, as I put videos out all the time, all things trucking. Hard to find my words, guys. All right, let's get back in the shop and finish working on Stoney's truck. See you, bye.